What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Snowman1999 here, and I hope you, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, are having a fantastic day today and just staying safe out there. And today we're back with another Minecraft video here on the channel. Today I will be showing everybody how you all can go ahead and build Mr. Harriman from the show Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. As you can see, we have already did 5 of them so far, and this is going to be the 6th one. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you could, just go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button as I try to hit 800 subscribers here on the channel. And it would mean a lot to me if you could. But anyway, if you want to build Mr. Harriman, go ahead and grab some dark gray, yellow concrete, white concrete, brown concrete, light gray, polished diorite, and go ahead and grab some orange concrete. Alright everybody, once you have picked where you want to build Mr. Harriman, go ahead and start with 1 dark gray. Go ahead and do 9 light gray. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's go ahead and do 6 polished diorite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just do 2 light gray. For our next row, starting where we got our dark gray concrete, let's place 1 polished diorite on top. And then going to our left, let's place down 4 more polished diorite. And then on the end, let's place a dark gray concrete. Alright, going to our right, let's do... Whoop, ladies and gentlemen, I almost forgot a block. Let's grab some black concrete. Alright, let's do 1 black concrete, 1 dark gray. Go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 polished diorite. And then let's place down 6 white concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then let's do 1 light gray and 1 black concrete. And then do polished diorite and a dark gray. Alright, for our next row, let's start right here. Let's place down 1 polished diorite, 1 dark gray. Let's do 4 polished diorite. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do 1 white concrete, 2 polished diorite, 1 dark gray, 3 polished diorite. Then let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 white concrete. Then let's do 1 polished diorite, 2 white concrete, and 1 polished diorite. And also let's place a white concrete. For our next row, let's start right on top of our dark gray. Let's do 1 black concrete, 3 polished diorite, 1 white concrete, 1 polished diorite, 2 white concrete, 1 light gray, 2 black concrete, 1 light gray. Let's do 5 white concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 dark gray, 2 white concrete, 1 light gray, 1 polished diorite, and 3 white concrete. Alright, for our next row, let's start right on top of our polished diorite. And let's place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 white concrete. Then let's go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 light gray. Let's do 2 dark gray, 2 polished diorite, 2 white concrete, and 1 polished diorite. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, let's come back here. Let's do a dark gray. Let's place a dark gray right there. For our next row, let's start with a diagonal polished diorite, just like that. Let's place 2 more right beside of it. Now let's do 2 white concrete, 1 dark gray, 1 white concrete. Let's bring our polished diorite down and hang it by 1, just like that. Then let's do 2 white. And on top of our dark gray here, let's do 2 light gray. For our next row, let's do 2 polished diorite, 3 white concrete, and then let's bring our polished diorite down, just hang it by 1, and then place 1 white concrete at the end. For our next row, let's start with a diagonal polished diorite, then place 1 more. Then let's do 4 white concrete. And then let's come down right here. So you see where we got our dark gray. Go 2 over. And then go up from this block and place a dark gray right there. And then let's do our 4 polished diorite, just like that. And now go ahead and skip 1 block, so right beside our dark gray. And starting on this block, let's bring our polished diorite down to the end. Alright, for our next row, let's start with a diagonal black concrete. Do 2 polished diorite. Let's do 4 white concrete, 1 light gray. Then let's do our polished diorite down. And then right here, let's place a dark gray. And then just place a polished diorite. Alright, starting for our next row, do 2 polished diorite, 2 white concrete, 1 black. Actually, no, let's do 1 light gray. Let's do 2 white, 1 light gray. And then just bring our polished diorite down to the end. For our next row, let's start right here. Let's start with 3 white concrete. Place 1 black concrete. Let's do 4 white, 1 dark gray, 2 polished diorite, 1 light gray, 1 dark gray, and bring our polished diorite down to the end. Alright, starting for our next row, let's do our 3 white concrete, 1 dark gray. Go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 white concrete. And then just bring our polished diorite down to the end. For our next row, let's do 1 polished diorite, 2 white concrete, 1 dark gray, 2 white concrete, 1 polished diorite. Go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4 white concrete. And then bring our polished diorite to the end and place a black concrete. Alright, for our next row, let's start right on top of our polished diorite. Let's do 1 dark gray, 1 black concrete, do 3 white, do a dark gray, and just bring your white concrete down to the end. And then let's just place a light gray right there. Let's do a black concrete beside of it, and then let's fill this in with polished diorite. For our next row, Let's start on top of our dark gray. Let's place 2 white, 1 black concrete, 1 white, 1 dark gray. Bring down your 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 white concrete. And then let's just place our 2 black right there at the end. And then let's fill this in with our polished diorite. For our next row, let's do white concrete down, just like that. Then let's do our polished diorite. Place 2 black concrete at the end. For our next row, let's place a black concrete. Do your white concrete down, just like that. And then let's bring our polished diorite down, and then place your 2 black concrete. Alright, for our next row, start right here. Bring down your white concrete, just like that. And then let's come down here. Let's do 2 black right there. And then just do your 4 polished diorite in the middle. Okay, for our next row, let's do 1 black concrete. Go ahead and bring your white concrete down to the end, just like that. Let's do our 2 black concrete right there. And just do your 4 polished diorite in the middle. For our next row, let's do our white concrete down. Alright. And then let's place down our 2 black concrete on the end, and then fill this in with polished diorite. Alright, for our next row, let's start with a black concrete. Bring your white concrete down to the end. Let's do our 4 polished diorite and just place 1 black concrete. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm going to back up and just show you what we have done so far. As you can see, so far, so good. Alright, when you are ready, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on. So come back to where we got our black concrete. Let's do a light gray, just right there. And let's place our white concrete down to the end. Let's do 3 polished diorite, 1 dark gray. Alright. Starting down here with our light gray. Let's bring our white concrete down, just like that. Let's do 2 polished diorite, and then 2 black concrete. Alright, for our next row, let's do 1 black concrete. Bring your white concrete down. Let's do two polished diorite. And then let's do 5 black concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, starting for our next row, let's do 3 white concrete, 2 yellow, 1 white, 1 polished diorite, 2 black concrete, 1 dark gray, and 3 black concrete. For our next row, let's do 2 white concrete, just right there. let's do 3 yellow concrete, 1 light gray, 2 black, 1 light gray, and then 2 black concrete. For our next row, start right here, and let's just place down 4 yellow concrete, and then let's bring our black concrete down to the end. Alright, for our next row, let's do 1 yellow concrete, 1 dark gray, 2 yellow, and then bring our black concrete down to the end. For our next row, do 1 brown, 1 yellow, 1 white, 1 yellow. Then let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black concrete. For our next row, let's start with a black, not a black, but a brown concrete. Let's do 3 yellow concrete, and then 3 black concrete. For our next row, let's go ahead and skip 1. So skip this block. And then let's place down, let's do 6 black concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Go ahead and break that block that we skipped. Okay, starting right here with our brown concrete. Let's just bring our black concrete down, hang it by 1, just like that. For our next row, let's do 2 black, 1 light gray, and then let's do our black concrete down, stop it right there. Then let's do 1 white, 1 yellow, and 3 black concrete. For our next row, let's go ahead and build up his hand here. So let's do 3 black. For our next row, let's do 1 black, 1 dark gray, and 1 polished diorite. Going up, let's do 2 rows of 3 white concrete. Going up, starting right here. Actually, let's just start here. Let's do a dark gray and 1 white concrete. For your next row, do 3 white concrete. Let's go up. Let's do a diagonal white concrete. Do 1 polished diorite, 1 white concrete, and 1 dark gray. Going up, let's do 2 dark gray, just like that. Place 1 polished diorite, 2 white concrete, and 1 light gray. For your next row, just place down 3 white concrete. On top of our dark gray, place a light gray, skip 2, and just place 2 white concrete. Then let's go on top of this block right here, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then just place 3 more white concrete. And there we've done it. We have built his finger pointing up. Alright, for our next row, let's go to start where our white concrete is. Let's do 2 white, 1 polished diorite, and 1 black concrete. Going up, let's do 1 polished diorite. Going to our left, let's do 1 orange, and then finish it with 3 white concrete. Going to our right, I meant to say. Sorry guys, I cannot speak today. Let's go ahead and do 2 orange and 3 white concrete. For our next row, do 1 orange concrete, 1 light gray, and 3 white concrete. For our next row, starting on top of our light gray, do 4 white concrete, go up again, but just placed 4 white concrete. Now let's do a diagonal black concrete, place a light gray, and then do 3 white. Okay, so let's go ahead and skip this block here, and let's place a black concrete. Go ahead and break that block that we skipped. Now let's do 1 polished diorite, skip this block, and starting on top of our black concrete, let's do 5 white concrete, and then place a dark gray. Alright, let's start with a diagonal black concrete. Let's do 1 white, 1 light gray, 2 polished diorite, 1 white concrete, 1 light gray, 1 white, and 1 polished diorite. For our next row, let's do 2 white concrete, 1 light gray, 3 white concrete, 1 black, 1 white concrete, and 2 polished diorite. For our next row, just do our 2 white concrete, 1 dark gray, 3 white concrete, 1 dark gray, 1 white concrete, 2 polished diorite, and 1 black concrete. For our next row, just do a row of white concrete and stop it right there. Then let's do 3 polished diorite. For our next row, let's do another row of white concrete. Then let's do 3 polished diorite, 1 dark gray, and then going to our right, let's do 3 polished diorite. And now let's go down. Let's go ahead and see, guys. Wait a minute. Let's do 7 polished diorite going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then come here, just place 1, go up from there, just like that. And then starting at this block, go up 3, and let's place a light gray. Go ahead and do 4. Never mind, 2. And then on top of this block, let's place a light gray. For our next row, let's do 1 white, 3 light gray. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white concrete, 2 polished diorite. Let's do 1 light gray, 2 polished diorite. For our next row, let's do... Actually, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and grab some pink just for this one part. Let's break this and fix it with pink. Let's do 3 more pink on top, and then let's just place a light gray right there. Let's do a polished diorite. Let's do our white concrete down, just like that. Let's place a polished diorite. Do 1 light gray and 2 polished diorite. Alright, let's start right over top of our pink concrete. Let's do 4 polished diorite, 2 white concrete, 1 polished diorite, 3 white concrete, and let's do 1 polished diorite, and just do 2 more right beside of it. For our next row, let's start on this block right here, bring it down, place 4 polished diorite, let's do 2 white concrete. Let's do 1 polished diorite, 1 black concrete, 2 white concrete, and 2 polished diorite. For our next row, let's start right here, bring it down just like that. Now let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white concrete. Let's do 1 polished diorite and 1 black concrete. For our next row, start with 1 black concrete, followed by 3 polished diorite. Do 4 white concrete. Let's place 1 polished diorite and 1 white concrete. For our next row, let's do 1 polished diorite, 1 dark gray, 1 polished diorite, 4 white concrete, 1 light gray, and 1 polished diorite. For our next row, let's just do a little thing here. Let's do 1 white concrete, 1 polished diorite, do 2 white. Now going up, let's just do a polished diorite, 1 white, and then place 2 polished diorite at the end. Alright, let's go ahead and start where our polished diorite is. Let's skip this block and this one, and then starting on the third one, do 1 dark gray. Now let's place 1 white concrete, 1 polished diorite, 1 white concrete, and 1 dark gray. For our next row, let's do 3 black concrete, do 1 dark gray, and 1 black. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's count up starting right here. Let's count up. Let's go ahead and count up 13 black concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, go ahead and build up the second row with our black concrete as well. And then come at the very top, 1 block down, place a black concrete. And there we have done it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We have finished Mr. Harriman from Foster Home for Imaginary Friends here in Minecraft. Well, you amazing people, just go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button if you have enjoyed this video and if it has helped you amazing people out. And go ahead and comment down below what you think about this build and if you enjoyed building it like I did. And just go ahead and tell me what other pixel art builds you want me to do here on the channel, and I will for sure do it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I love you all to death. Stay safe out there. You guys are awesome. You are amazing. And until the next video, this has been me, your boy, Snowman1999, and I am signing out. Peace out.